All right, so it's another week of a lot more of the same. So how's everyone doing? We're gonna be okay. It's all gonna be good. Um, I was reading an interesting book again. This is the multipleth time I've read Chasing Excellence by Ben Bergeron. Anyone that's in the CrossFit world knows Ben. He is the founder of CrossFit New England. He's been a coach to some of the greatest CrossFit athletes out there. And this book is just excellent. If you love CrossFit, it's excellent about mindset. But I thought I would share with you because I thought since we have Mirna on today, this is such a great place to start with mindset because mindset is a lot. It's a lot. So an interesting part of this book is this pyramid, which I know it's reversed, but it's basically like a pyramid for preparing athletes. The top is the strategy and the game plan. The next part is ability, so your strength and conditioning. And the next part is the process, and then the person. And Bergeron talks about in the book how most people, most coaches will start with strategy and ability and the kind of just that's all they focus on. And that he likes to really focus on the person and the process. And with that, I'm going to read this part and then we're going to do a quick meditation. So, committing to the right process is a critical part of success, but it's no magic pill. There's not one giant step that will get you from where you are to where you want to be. If you want a six-pack, nothing you can do today will get you a six-pack tomorrow. If you're growing a business, there's no single step that will get you from 10 customers today to 10,000 customers tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. The only thing that works is pounding on your craft day in and day out, doing the right things over and over again. As Tim Grover, a personal trainer to Michael Jordan, says in his book, Relentless, there are no secrets, there are no tricks. If anything, it's the opposite. Whether you're a pro athlete or a guy running a business or driving a truck or going to school, it's simple. Ask yourself where you are now and where you want to be instead. Ask yourself what you're willing to do to get there, and then make a plan to get there. Think of it this way. If you were a robot and things like sleep, relaxation, stress, relationships, desires, and temptations were not a factor, how would you program yourself to meet your goals? It's a really good question. But guess what? It's really hard because we're not robots, we're humans. If it were as simple as just writing it down and putting it on the fridge, everyone would be a champion. Committing to a process requires a unique set of character traits, things like grit, resilience, accountability, confidence, optimism, perseverance, and passion. Without these traits, it's impossible to follow a championship process, which is why character is the first thing I focus on when developing an athlete, which I think is really cool because I know I couldn't have made it through any of my endeavors without developing me as a person and accepting myself as not a robot and a human. So I thought that was a really powerful thing to read. So before we get started, I want to do our little grounding meditation, just a few minutes of breathing, being still, and stepping into this moment. Because most of us are way too busy and we're not even stopping if we're even here. So this is Meredith Atwood style meditation, which is a lot of fuzzy meditation, but I like to welcome you all with an open heart and gratitude and encourage you to do the same. So if you will, if you feel comfortable and you're not driving, just give your eyes a quick close and we're just going to take a breath. However you'd like to breathe, doesn't matter to me. And take another deep breath and let it out. What does excellence mean to you? It doesn't have to be a big thing. I like to think about it. What does excellence mean for us today in this moment? Just take a breath on that and think about it. Don't let it stress you out, but just think about what would make your day excellent. Just take another breath. Think of one thing that you are very, very grateful for right in this moment. It can be the coffee you have, it can be the computer you have, it can be this way to connect, it can be just the air you breathe. Just think of something you're grateful for and take a few breaths around that. And with your eyes closed, I'm just going to read you this quick passage. You are not in this life to have things go your way. You are not in this life to have things go your way. It's utterly and totally unreasonable to expect that they will. What you do have are a number of diverse resources within yourself and within your environment, as well as a deep, simple, creative awareness. The real challenge of this life is not to find the perfect situation, because there is no such thing. Nor is it to get your own way. Rather, it is to connect with your own inner resources and with the opportunities that exist in the atmosphere. Then, through the understanding that you cultivate within yourself, you merge the two and make a creative expression that, at its core and in its essence, is perfection. Take another deep breath. Let it out. All right. Open your eyes if you're ready. And I'm going to welcome our special guest today. Hi, Mirna.
Hi, everybody.
Yay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear
Awesome.
you. So the last time and the only time I've seen you, you were in my living room.
I was. Wait, did you move back to Atlanta or?
No, I'm in Massachusetts, and you're up here somewhere now too.
Oh, what? Wait, how did I miss that?
I'm just following
neighbor.
You. I'm just following you because when we first connected, I was like, wait a minute, you live right down the road from me in Georgia, and then you didn't because you moved, and now I followed you. Because where are you? You're in New Jersey, right?
I'm in Vermont. I'm in Vermont, so we really are neighbors. Oh, I can't hear you now.
Oh, sorry. I had to mute it because my children come in. Even though I'm like, hey, can mom have 1 hour without you like clattering around? No.
I'm sure you will hear trickling pee in the background because it never fails that my son gets up and goes to the bathroom with the door open. So if you hear that, just know that there's a very tall, large 16-year-old peeing in the bathroom.
What is with the door open? I don't know. I got a 12-year-old.
Professionalism at its best.
It's all good. So you're in Vermont. We really are close. Wait, what part? I don't really know. I don't even know which direction Vermont's in. Let's be honest.
I am west of you.
Oh, really? I was like, aren't you north
or like
west?
Northwest.
I don't think I've been to Vermont yet.
Well, after all of this is over, we'll have a little meetup over here.
Okay.
In my town of, it's technically a city of Montpelier, which is the capital of Vermont. It is the smallest capital in the 50 states. And for a person that is from New York City, Brooklyn, it's a town.
And you're dying a little.
No, you know what? I love it. I am so happy I'm here right now. I am like, I am so overjoyed that I'm here because I can still go out on a run. I can still, go out on a trail because we have so many trails and everything is so spaced out and just spacious and not crowded, that it really is, it's such a boon to be here. So I'm very, very, very honored. And right across the street from me is a church where they are serving free meals
to
nice. The community. And it is what a gorgeous sight to see. It's sunny out. I'm so privileged to live where I live. I work in New York, you know, as you know, is a hotspot of this mess. And but I'm super excited to be here up in Vermont.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. So what have you been up to? Let's see. I talked to you like 2 years ago. It seems like you have exploded. I mean, you were like on the way up. So it was right after the REI explosion, I think is, I don't even know if you call it that. That's what I just termed it. Um, when the video, the thing came out and you like
thing
went, I
came
feel
out.
like that's when you went viral was the REI video. Was it not?
Well, you know, it's you know, it was, yes, that did go viral. That actually started going viral in 2017, and I think I saw you in 2018 when I had just left my job as an educator,
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
was in a huge transition, staying at my friend's apartment in Atlanta, not knowing which way was up or down, or you know, constantly being
Right.
on a plane, and I had come straight to you from the airport. I don't even remember where I was.
Right.
So,
Right.
and we were both like super tired and like
It was
kind of
late.
dragging. It was
It was
late,
late. So we
but it
just
was
sat in
fun.
the recliners.
Yes, that was
I
the
just
best
said,
podcast interview I've ever had.
I
I was
said,
like, this
here,
is
we'll
so
just use
fun.
my portable mics and we'll recline. How's that?
Yep, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Um, so yeah, I have been sort of chasing the Mirnavator brand since then. I was still, you know, from 2015 to 2018, I was still a full-time teacher at the Raven Gap McCoochie School in Raven County, Georgia. And anyway, that's the actual name of the school. Um,
Your
and I
accent
love
is
my job,
failing
but it
you
was, you know,
though.
well, you know, I have not been there in a couple months,
I
so
know.
so I have to get my Raven County accent back. Anyway,
I don't know. That was good. Raven County. That was good.
just give me a couple of minutes. I'll be right back
You'll,
there.
I'll help bring you back because I still have a lot of it in me. If I get real fired up, it'll come out.
And yeah, so I have been obviously not now, but I was traveling 80% of the time, speaking, doing lots of races, events, still doing book talks every now and then, and um, now I can't remember what I just said.
I just said, what you been doing?
Instagramming, you know, professionally, you know, as someone who gets
Yeah.
to do a lot of sponsored content, because that is a real job that people do. And I hesitate to say influencer stuff because that has a bad connotation. I think people think that influencers don't actually do work. Well, there's
Yeah.
some that, you know, just take pictures, but but there are others that actually are involved in different things and use their influence to inspire people to inspire joy, creativity, that kind of thing. And I hope that's what I do. Um, so yeah, I mean, I could just keep talk. I could talk for 3 hours.
Yeah. No, I'm really interested because, like, I mean, you raise a good point. I mean, doing social media for a job, it is, I guess it's technically my job, but I don't, it's not, I'm not getting paid to do it yet. So maybe we should talk offline so I can figure that out because it takes way too much time to not get paid. But it is a tremendous amount of time and effort to do a single Instagram post when it actually has content in it.
What? Yeah, I mean, it is. So my latest thing I was doing this thing for H&R Block, and that I don't know if my audience is the H&R target audience, but you know, here I had to craft a message that was within my own brand, and my own brand is joy, adventure, inclusivity, and community.
And taxes,
Uh, and
apparently,
taxes.
and taxes.
And so I spent many hours shooting stuff, finding stuff, crafting Twitter posts, crafting the storyline, and making sure that it fit all the FTC requirements and stuff like that, and then putting it out to my community and you know, kind of seeing what happens. Nothing really on Twitter because that's not really the platform that I live on. And
Yeah.
it's not really built for sponsored posts. I skip over sponsored posts all the time on Twitter, but on Instagram, it's a different platform because it is so visual. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing, and I like that. It's cool. I think it's a kind of a very different thing to do that I thought, like, I never thought I would be doing social media stuff, but here I am.
Right.
And actually that is the thing that is sustaining me right now, because all of my speaking engagements have been canceled or rescheduled until who knows when.
Right.
Lots of races that I'm supposed to make appearances at have been, canceled or postponed. And I'm waiting for my sponsorships to kind of fall one by one. So, so that's kind of the space that I'm in. I'm still solvent for the next couple of months, but who knows what's going to happen. And I think that is the position of many, many people. And I have to say that what is sustaining me now, not just financially, is hope.
Yeah.
And it's a relentless optimism. And that doesn't just mean that I'm saying just be positive, because that doesn't really work. You have to have tools to be positive, and I think you have to really, really work at it and practice it. And so that's something that that I've been doing on the daily, and I really have devoted my social media platforms to that. Because you can get all the other stuff elsewhere. You can get panic, you can get, uncertainty, you can get all of that stuff on TV, you can get it on the radio, you can get it on Twitter, on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, but I don't want my space to be that, because I already get that. So, so I really have made a very firm commitment to that. You will not see that on my social media, although I am experiencing the exact same things that other people are experiencing.
Right.
So go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say the relentless optimism, that's sort of been your unspoken brand for many years, right? I mean, when you started out running, and I mean, your whole life is so fascinating, and we can talk about I'm sure you got it down to like a 5-minute, or just in case anyone doesn't know who you are. So maybe we should fly through that, because I know I've got my 5-minute. Who are you? But my favorite though, Mirna, is when I go do a book talk, I do the whole thing, and then like this little old lady in the back row is like, so who are you? And I thought, okay, so I got to get a 5-minute-er that I can run through, so I can tell them at the beginning who I am, so I don't get that really awkward question of who am I? So who are you?
Sure. But first I want to say that I do see some names that I know already. So hi to everybody, obviously. But hi to those of you that I already know that are in my own Fat Girl Running community, or who follow me on Instagram and other things. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for everyone else. I so appreciate you chiming in and tuning in to my bullshit. So anyway.
No.
My name is Mirna Valerio, and I'm also known publicly as the Mirnavator. And real quick, in 2008, I had a health scare that prompted me to get back on the fitness wagon. I thought I was having a heart attack, but it turned out to be a panic attack. And I didn't believe it was a panic attack, because I was like, Black people don't get panic attacks, and it was this whole thing, and about mental health and whatnot. And so I decided to get back on the wagon after I met with a cardiologist who said, that I was going to die if I didn't change my lifestyle. And my lifestyle back then included not sleeping, because my son was always ill. I had a really stressful job, and there was just like unending cycle of me being sick, him being sick, my husband being sick, not sleeping, working too much, the whole thing that I'm sure many, many of us are familiar with. And so after this cardiologist, basically told me I was going to die, the very next day I got on my treadmill. And I had this treadmill for a couple of months. It was pretty new. And so I, dusted it off, took all the clothes off and the shoes that were on it. And I ran my first mile in 3.5 years, just under 4 years. I had always been a runner. In high school, I played varsity sports, and I ran all the way through college recreationally, but I ran. And I was always pretty fit and active. as a larger, big, fat, thick, whatever you want to call me, woman. And so I got back on the wagon, did that first mile. It was very, very painful, mostly emotionally, because I felt like I had let myself get to a point where I had not been taking care of myself, and my health and wellness were not a priority. So I decided to make it a priority, and it took a couple of months for me to kind of get back into a space where I really, really did prioritize that stuff. But then I started feeling better. I started, sleeping better. I started reprioritizing my life and not taking so much work home. I worked at a boarding school, so like it was kind of impossible to do that.
Right. I live here. I work here. I live here. I work here.
Right. My friend community was there. My work community was there. I lived right in the dorm. And so it was a really, really difficult struggle to get that prioritized or reprioritized. But I did over the next couple of months, years. And I did happen, and my platform is not weight loss, but I did lose weight just as a result of working out again and sleeping. Sleeping was my number one thing that threw everything off. When I don't sleep, even now, when I don't sleep, I get sick. I get bloated. My skin is just gross. And all of these other things happen but the minute I sleep, I'm like, damn, So I mean, if I look good now, it's because I've been sleeping. Thank you for the opportunity to brush my hair back this morning. I haven't been doing that. But anyway, so that happens. I started training for a half marathon and then a marathon, and then while I was training for my marathon, I started a blog called Fat Girl Running. And I do believe it's the original. I named it in 2009, but didn't really start writing it until 2011. And I just told stories of what it felt like to be a larger bodied person in endurance sports. And for me, that was long distance running. I don't do triathlons yet.
Yet. We always say yet. And I don't do long distance running.
But, we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that because, you know what? Ultras are probably easier than tries. I'm just saying, if you want to go the easy route. But
I was actually thinking about it. I actually told my husband, right, like literally 10 minutes before I got on, I was like, so I'm talking to Mirna. I think I should do an ultra this summer. What do you think? And he's like, yeah, we can do it together and put the kids in a tent. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I just walked out of the room. I was like, no.
Yes, we should talk. Let's talk.
No, I wanted to do it by myself. No kids in no tent.
Oh, well, okay. All right, maybe the kids in a tent could be somewhere else, or home. But so yeah, I did that, and then nothing. I just shared stories and shared with my friends and family, and then in 2015, I get an email from Wall Street Journal. Hey, Mirna, what? We love your blog. Me? And so they wrote a piece about whether or not it was still useful to people to work out even if you're not losing weight. Which, when you're thinking about it, is a pretty ridiculous question. But for a lot of people, it's not obvious. And so they did that, and Runner's World came shortly afterwards. Hey, can we feature you? And I'm like, what? And so they featured me in a 12-page piece with 2 full-page photos of me.
Wow.
One of my backside.
12 pages of your rear end.
12 pages because of course my mama counted first. She was like, it's 12 pages long.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And then, things just started happening. NBC Nightly News, and then CNN and all of these different media outlets, and I got a book deal out of it, and then I was still teaching at the same time. And while I was teaching, I was away for a long time, for a lot of days. And my job, the Raven Gap McCoochie School up in Raven County, they were so gracious and generous and said, hey, we know you're doing this really cool thing, and we want you to continue to be able do that. So just let us know when you're gone. And they still paid me my full salary.
Oh, I was gonna say I had a similar story. My boss was like, "Yeah, you gotta not do this," but they didn't keep paying me.
Yeah, my school kept paying me. I'm not
Maybe
sure
I
I'm
should have
supposed to be
gone to
saying that
Raven
out loud,
County.
but
I
but
was
it
in
was a
Fulton.
private school, so they can
Oh,
do whatever they want. But
right.
yeah, and it was this really cool thing. I started speaking. I started doing all these other like really awesome things, and then in 2017 at the end, I shot a commercial for JCPenney, and when I got that paycheck, I was like, oh, is this what people do? Because I need not to be teaching.
What kind of money does I can do JC Penney. What does it pay?
Look,
what do they want me to do? I'll do anything.
All I'm going to say is that it was a quarter of my salary as a teacher.
Wow.
And I made it in 7 hours.
I'll even do their laundry section.
And so that's when I started thinking. I was like, I love teaching. I love education. And if I ever need to go back to being an educator, I'm there. I did it for 18 years. I can do it for 18 more. And so, but hopefully not. Yeah, so that kind of got me thinking, maybe this is something I can do full time. And so I did some exploring, and in 2018 I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done because it became too stressful to balance doing the speaking and stuff and the adventuring with the teaching and really trying to be there for my students. And so I left, and it was huge turmoil for me because I went from having a very rigid schedule to not having a schedule at all. But on the bright side of that, no one owned my time, and I could decide my own schedule and stuff. And it took me almost 2 years. It's been almost 2 years now that I finally have a sense of routine and how I need to train and how I need to balance the traveling. Well, now I ain't doing it anymore. So what was the good in all that? Anyway,
right.
But it is. I really, really like this life of having my job being to run. Like my job is to run, like me, and to write and to inspire people. That is my job. And so I'm really, really appreciative of what I am able to do now, full time. And and I think I was meant for this. I think I was meant to put smiles on people's faces, to give them a boost of confidence and energy, and to hug people and to believe in people. And so, because people have always done that for me, and I just want to pay it forward. And so that's kind of the way that I live my life. And now, while we are in this huge upheaval, this huge period of change, I think it's more and more important to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if anyone has any questions for Mirna, remember to raise your little blue Zoom hand and or post something in the chat. That's what she's here for. When do you get to talk to Mirna? Like, so ask questions. I get all these cool people in here and no one asks any questions. I'm like, what? Ask questions. But I wouldn't either. I used to be a total chicken about asking questions. And I also say this is the place to practice your public speaking.
Oh yeah.
What else are we doing while we're here?
Ask me a question, please.
Ask her a question. So what is what is the best thing that someone's ever told you, like, about your work, about what you're doing? I mean, you get the emails like, you inspire me, but what's like because I have a couple that I think of and they always bring smiles to my face, and I'm sure you do too, is they're like, or just maybe something someone crazy said, not someone crazy, something crazy someone arguably crazy said.
Oh man, there's a whole Rolodex in my head of those things. But do people use that word anymore?
I know. I think we just like dated ourselves. We're like, oh yeah, Rolodex.
I mean, contacts list. You know what? Something really cool somebody said to me, and it doesn't seem like earth shattering, but it felt earth shattering in the moment. When I was still in Georgia, and it was my last spring there. And I went on a run, and I was training for the Boston Marathon. And I ran into a parent of a former student who I loved. I love the parent. I love the student. Um, and and she's like, I just don't believe how you can just be out here running like this. You must be made for this. I mean, after so many messages that I get, negative messages that I get, or confused messages, or curious messages that I get about whether or not I'm supposed to be doing this.
Curious. That's a
Not,
lovely word.
know,
I'm curious.
but you ain't really curious. You're judgmental.
Right. Judgmental as hell.
And that was a thing that I needed to hear in that moment. Yeah. She said, you were made for this. You must have been, your body must be made for this. And I was like, hell yeah, my body is made for this, because if it weren't, I wouldn't be able to do it. Right? Even though it's not easy, it is never easy. That first mile is never easy. Sometimes sometimes the whole run, the whole 5K, the whole 10K, or whatever it is not easy. But my body is able to do it anyway. It might be slower than a lot of people. Like, it might be faster than some people, but it's able to do it. And that really, like, the whole rest of my training for Boston was like, my body is made for this. I am made for this. And it was such a beautiful and simple message. And I'm sure she didn't mean to, be so profound in that moment, because we were just passing each other.
Yeah.
But it hit me in a very profound way. And so I love that. And that sentiment keeps me going. Anytime. Yesterday, I go out, and it started raining while I was running, and it was this nice spring rain, and even in Vermont, it wasn't that cold. And this car passes by full of people. And, when a car passes by full of people with the windows down, you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes it's not good. But they were like, keep running. I was like, okay, all right.
I love the car shouters. Like, there's been so many discussions about people, and sometimes they aren't nice, but there's like this divisive thing. Like, if you're, and I can say fat girl running because that's your blog title, but if there's a fat girl running, like, they don't want to be encouraged. Like, there's that. I'm like, oh no, please, I'm going to wear a t-shirt that says, send all the encouragement all the way while I'm running. Shout as much as encouragement as you would want. I love that. That's great. Okay, we have a couple of questions.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Oh, and I love I am made for this. And that's so applicable, no matter where for so many things. Like, right now, I am made for this quarantine because I'm going to come out of this better than I went into it. Like, we can apply that to anything. So that really is a very profound statement. Okay, so the question from Shira, can you give us some homeschooling advice for those of us who are balancing work and teenagers in this crazy time? How do we keep them active, creative, and on task?
The answer is no. I'm just kidding.
We don't even have kids to close the door when they pee. We've got nothing.
As you can see, I'm really surprised he hasn't come and popped his head in. I mean, I could be on the most serious call. He's like,
oh yeah.
He just doesn't even care. I'm like, okay, that's my life. But I took my kid out of school actually for the entire year so we could adventure together. And we have another Instagram account called Adventure School Chronicles, which I don't put up a lot of stuff because he says he doesn't need my followers. So, so that's.
I don't need your pity followers, Mom.
I'm like, all right. So we haven't updated that too much, but I took him out with the intention of taking him on adventures, and it has taught me so much, just about not homeschooling in particular, but just just kind of letting kids lead, letting them take the lead in their own learning. I don't have to answer to any school board, or because technically he could be out of school and just be done because he's 16 already in Vermont. And so we haven't done a lot of academic work, but we've done a lot of traveling. And I've learned, it took me a couple of months to learn that he is not going to do, like, if I have a set schedule, he's not going to do it. But if I just put things on the refrigerator that need to be done, that are more sort of academic or more sort of school learning related, and I use that very loosely, like, write an essay, and I give him an essay prompt on some adventure that we were on, or some book that we've been reading, and I just put it on the refrigerator, and he gets it done, and he gets it done really well. I don't nag him about it. I trust that he's going to do it. I mean, sometimes I have to like gently push him, but he gets it done, and then, even though I've taught high school for 11 years and middle school for 7.5, that lesson kind of resonates with me. Let them take the lead, or listen to them and kind of see what they're interested in, like really, really deeply listen. And remember that your educational experience as a child is going to be very, very different from theirs. They're living in a very different world. They are surrounded by technology, and you know what? That's okay. It's especially okay now.
Right.
People are worried about screen time right now. And it's, as long as they're not watching something damaging to their psyche, if that's the way my screen report was 11 hours a day. And I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. But that's kind of the world that we're living in. And a lot of that is work, but like still, I'm scrolling and scrolling endlessly. But, go outside, take them outside if you can. Not everybody has the luxury right now of going outside without being hassled or, whatever. I do, but spend some time with them outside, and really work with, if you are working with your school district or your public school or private school, and please give the teachers some grace.
Right. I'm in a district, and some of the comments that parents are making, come on.
Yeah,
come on, people.
From most places aren't set up for online learning, and they're learning. They are in a huge learning curve right now.
Right. And guess what, everyone? Who cares if the kids don't learn for 3 months? I know
yeah.
It
doesn't matter.
Depends.
It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
There's certain groups that it matters more to, like maybe juniors taking the SAT, and people, like I went to go look at the Massachusetts bar, and like because I'm probably going to take it. Don't ask me about that. But in July, and so all the people that just graduated or graduating law school aren't going to be able to take the bar, and they're like, well, what and I get that, but it's like, calm down, everyone. Like everyone, calm down about the 3 months. It's probably going to be 3 months, right?
It might be more.
It might be more, but whatever. The whole country is. This just like
the entire world is shut down, basically. So. What might be shocking, it's this 3 months that we have to stay home with our kids. The most important thing is to be at home with your kids, and to love on them, and to, if you can sneak a little teaching in there, sneak a little writing in there, write together as a family, or watch something together as a family, or just really, really listen. When your kids talk to you, this is something even last night I had a comment about. When your kids talk to you, listen, be there fully, be there completely. And I was trying to watch Ozark last night, and my kid was talking to me, and I couldn't hear him because I was focused on the thing. He's like, Mom. I'm like, oh, let me shut it off. Let me put it on pause, and then give them your full attention. That's what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember algebra.
Right. I don't even know. No. And, a lot of the things that I've heard too is like, well, we don't have the martyr syndrome. Like, well, we don't have the luxury to spend time with our kids right now because we have jobs. Oh my God. I'm living in a house with a man with a job. Like I have never seen him have a job because he's in manufacturing equipment for this stuff that's going on.
Wow.
And so I'm like, I'm watching this, and I'm, running my thing. And I'm like, stop saying you're the only one with a job. Like all of us have different things, and you're making a choice. You can get up earlier. Like I have no sympathy for the people that think they still get to work 9 to 5 and take off evenings and mornings. Get up at 4, do your work till 9, talk to your children till, there are ways, and the whole, like, it just crawls me because I feel like, I just don't like people. I don't like hearing a lack of resourcefulness, a martyrdom syndrome.
Mm.
Like, when people comment, well, I'd love to join your meetups, but I'm at work. And I'm like, it's 9 a.m. or 12 probably if you're following me. So you can do breakfast or lunch, or you can choose. Like, it's a choice. You can join this. You can put your headphones in and you cannot. Like, you're not the only one working. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, everyone is dealing with huge change.
Everyone's dealing with something. So anyway, I'm
and,
off my soapbox.
And it's, some of us are definitely more resourceful than the others, and some of us do have more flexibility than others. But I do think there is this now where there's like a hierarchy of pains and fears and stuff like that. Everyone is scared. Everyone has like severe, extreme change in their lives. No matter where you are, socioeconomically or job wise, everything has been changed. And to acknowledge that everybody's dealing with that. The teachers, the medical professionals that are, on the front lines, the IT people, everyone's dealing with this. Yes. And I think the more that we know that and internalize that and acknowledge it, the better we will be.
Yes, the medical professionals, like, let's like take a moment and pause there. Like, they're not the ones that are complaining about their kids home. They're out there like saving the world,
right.
the last
and
line
getting,
of defense.
and getting ill themselves. And I think,
yes.
Just, kind of take everything like this. This is what our normal is right now. Our normal is, that there is no consistency anywhere.
There is no normal.
But what we can do is have our own routine, and that's something that has been saving me, like, mentally and emotionally. Like, and I also get work done and stuff. Bye, Shira. But it is, it's really important to me. Like, I get up in the morning, and I always have black coffee in the morning, except for yesterday, and I just kind of screwed up my day. See, now I know I need to have my coffee. Coffee, I read something either inspirational, positively informational, or like just uplifting. That's because it really sets up my day in the way that it needs to be set up. Or, if reading is not your thing, maybe yoga, maybe, meditation or whatever. Oh, I forgot meditation. I do that too. And then I have a couple of things that I need to get done during the day. I always do a gratitude list. And if you have been on my Instagram at all, there's a gratitude list there 5 days a week. I don't do it on the weekend because I need some time off for the gratitude. And then I try to, and then I do my social media postings, and then I do stuff that I need to do for work. Like, I'm doing a live for my Patreon subscribers tomorrow on the Strava Why We Run research that I was part of, and so I'm doing a workshop on that. And so, like, I'm working to get ready for that. I do the social media stuff. I'm in conversations with my sponsors and stuff. So there's tons of things that I have to do. I have to write a chapter of my book, my next book. So as long as I have that structure within my day, but it's pretty flexible, and I have to do my run, I have to do my training, and I read at night, and I make sure that I do not watch TV at night. I don't watch the news at night. Ever. Like, if I'm going to do the news, I do it in the morning. To get my information, I look up my state government website to look for any information that I need to know about my state and my local government, so I can be informed. I look at the statistics. And by the way, if you are wanting to teach your kids math, statistics is a great way to connect the current crisis with their learning. They will never ever forget it. And if you need to brush up on statistics, do that, because it's a great way to to really use applied mathematics right now. That's the
okay. Let's go to Sharps. Yeah. I don't know what we're just gonna call you Sharps, but I feel like you've had your little blue hand up for a long time. So
I can't see the blue hand. So
hold on. Hey,
hi.
It's Megan.
Hello, Megan Sharps.
Yeah, everybody calls me Sharps. No, Mirna, you were just saying how, like, when you transitioned from being a teacher into kind of doing your own thing out there, right? That's kind of like what we're all going through right now. So what are your tips other than having, that daily routine?
Reaching out and asking for help. Being part of a community such as this one. I'm in a community online. It's called Hello 7, and it's for women entrepreneurs. And I have gained so much from the knowledge and expertise of other women in business who have small businesses, who have larger businesses, and who are just doing the thing. And so I lean on them very heavily, and I'm always asking questions. And so that's the other thing. But the second thing is I'm also taking a money mindset course. And it's funny because money mindset doesn't have anything to do with money. so it's all of this emotional BS women have been taught to either be or how to exist, within this like framework of patriarchy and stuff. And so like I'm like dealing with all my money issues and like also some emotional issues and business issues and confidence issues. Like I may seem like a very confident person, and I'm pretty confident, but the imposter syndrome is huge. So I'm constantly working through that, and I have that community to lean on. So definitely having a community is really, really important. And also setting boundaries. For a family who thinks, oh, you're home all day, so this is why I don't live in New York anymore. I mean, I didn't want to move back home anyway, but since you're home all day, can you I can call you any time of the day, right? Or I can request you to do some research for me, but no, you can't. So setting boundaries has been really, really important. And for me, I also made sure to find a place to live in where my job is to run and train. So I have to be able to run and train in the mountains and on the road. And so I found a perfect spot for that. So all of those steps took a really long time to kind of figure out what it was that I actually needed. But it's been really cool to see that all of these things exist, and that communities exist specifically for this reason. And that, that you can really lean on people for help, so ask for help.
Great. And I want to add to that too, Megan, if I can. One of the things that I find is super helpful is lowering expectations, not of ourselves, but just expectations of life in general. Like if you just expect things just to be a certain way and life to be happy all the time and everyone to do what you want them to do, just eliminating expectation is such a freedom. I can't explain it. I used to just expect so many things out of people and government. Like, where did this come from? How did I expect that to happen? And so lowering that, especially now, just having no expectations except the ones you set for yourself, like I'm going to get up and bathe today, those kind of things are good. But yeah, that's helped me a lot.
Yeah, in the outdoor community, we have this thing called managing expectations or adjusting expectations. Yeah. Like when a lot of people will go out on a hike and expect to have this amazing experience of views and bears and mountains and that's
why I don't go. No bears. Okay,
people who are crazy. And you get out on a trail and it's cloudy and you don't see anything and it's slippery and it sucks. Or you think it's going to suck and it's, and you can't see anything and the people you're with suck. That's never happened to me.
I feel like there's a story there.
Oh my, there's so many stories. But, but then you have to take oh my God, the complaining people, the people that kind of overstate their abilities. And, that is something that is applicable everywhere. People who overstate their abilities or, what they're able to do, what they bring to the table. That's a huge thing. And so, but then you just have to kind of take the situation as it is and glean whatever it is that you can from that situation. You are learning grit when you go on that trail. You are learning that there's something else in this hike that maybe you didn't know was there, that you're going to learn from, that you're going to be able to apply to your life, that you are learning that you can deal with really annoying people, really talkative people, or people that are really negative. And so that there's value in everything, I will say value in everything that you do.
Yeah, finding the lesson or the silver lining, or life is happening for us, right? Just focus on that. Yeah, it's helpful. Well, does anyone else have it? We can probably do one more question or comment.
What's my favorite part of running ultras?
Oh,
finishing.
Finishing. Yeah.
Actually, no. That's icing on the cake, so to speak. But I really love training for ultras and forcing myself to find out new routes, to overcome the every time I have to run, do I really want to do this again? And that's that is every day. So really,
Right.
why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this? This is so hard and it sucks. But then you get those
Well,
moments.
because now it's your job.
It's my job, which my coach is like, it's your job.
It's
and I'm like,
your
thanks,
job.
coach. Thanks, coach. You didn't have to remind me of that. but it is, but I know intrinsically, because I've experienced it so many times, that once I get over that hump, there are going to be a couple of seconds that are beautiful. And I live for those seconds. Not, and then I'll fall, or, somebody will throw a cigarette butt at me or something like that. It hasn't happened in Vermont yet, but it happened
in Georgia. Yeah, I believe.
Or a beer can. Like,
it's not even funny, but you have to laugh, because otherwise, what do you do?
You have to, right? But like, I live for those moments, and I know that I'm always 100% always going to feel better than I was feeling after my run. Even if I'm more tired, even if my body is aching, I know that will go away for the most part if I'm injured. But I know that it really does set my day, and set up my day and set the tone for my day. And I know that I'm putting miles in the bank of like longevity and long-term health and wellness. But that health and wellness doesn't just include physical health and wellness. It's my mental and emotional health and wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially during this time too. I was telling one of my clients, I don't remember, I said, look, you got to separate working out from physical health at this point, because losing weight right now, like, great, whatever. I mean, right now you have to stay sane, and this moving your body is part of that prescription. And I think we have to kind of stop worrying about all the other stuff at the moment, honestly, because if your head's not on straight, none of that matters. And it really is the movement that gets us out of our body or into our body, depending on where we need to be. And so, yeah. But thank you so much, Mirna. You are always so much fun, and of course, an inspiration. That goes without saying. Your name, the Mirnavator.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this. I always appreciate the opportunity to talk to people, and literally I could talk for 3 more hours, but I won't do that to you. But I appreciate seeing your faces. I appreciate y'all like going to bat for other people and for me, and I appreciate you, Meredith. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate you too. And we'll have to do it again soon in Vermont. Yeah. Isn't that where Ben and Jerry's is?
Yes. 20 minutes away.
I'll be there. Whenever they open back up, I will be there. We will meet at Ben and Jerry's. How about
that? I like it.
All right, everyone. Take care
you,
tomorrow,
everybody.
same time, same bat station. I believe tomorrow is Samra Zafar, who was a child bride, and she's a motivational speaker and wrote a book about it. Fascinating story. I've been trying to get her on the podcast for months and months and months, and she booked the podcast, and I said, hey, I'm not really doing that at the moment, so come. So she's going to be on tomorrow, same time, so hopefully you can join that. And yeah, thanks again, Mirna.
Bye.
Be good, everyone. Take care. Talk to you soon.